Okay, let me share my screen. Let me know when you start seeing my screen.
Yeah, the screen is visible, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll continue from there. I'll connect to same sample superstore. Go to show me. I just want to see what is remaining. Okay, so there is another chart which is called a Gantt chart, which is remaining. So this Gantt chart is nothing but, let's say, if you want to track the progress of something, okay, is on a particular date where it is. Let's say something that has started, let's think about any project that has started and end date, and what is the progress and what is the status, something like that. If you want to see, and this Gantt chart can help us. Mostly this Gantt chart is used by the project management people, so that they can track, like, there are multiple projects going on and they would like to see on a given date where they are, right? So this will be helpful, this Gantt chart. Let me see if we have any data, otherwise we'll create the data. Okay. Okay, that's okay. We'll create an Excel file now with some sample data. Okay, so let's say I will call the first column as project ID. Let's say project ID. Then let's say I'll give a start date of the project, end date of the project, which is basically an estimated end date. Then let's say status. Let's say project ID. Let's say I'll call it P1, P2, something like that. Let's say 10 projects are going on. Let's say I'll put also start date and end dates for each of those. Let's say so this 11 April, let's say I'll start with 22nd and the end date is, let's say I will make it like last day of this year. Status is, let's say, in progress. All right. Next is, let's say I'll do some date. Let's say Control V. Let's say it started in March. And the end date is, let's say, June. Some date in June, let's say 30th June. And which progress is, let's say, not started. Let's again 1st March, and this is, let's say, I'll say October, 31st October 2022, and I'll call it in progress. Okay, one more, let's say 01/01/2022, and the end date is, let's say, March 31st March 2022, and let's call it completed. let's say 01042022, and the end date is, let's say, I'll keep it this again in progress. Let's have one more. Let's say only this much. We have data something like this. Let me remove this. Okay, this is my data. I'll save it. Save as, call it Gantt. All right, this is the data. Let me connect to this file. So I can connect in multiple ways. I can click on this, it will take to the landing page, or if landing page, then you can click on Excel and you connect to data, or I can do it from here also. This data with new data source icon is there, right? I can click on that. Also, that will take me to the same screen, and I can click on Excel. That's it. Sheet 1, go to sheet 1, and now we will start building this chart. Let's say what it needs, one or more dimension, 0 to 2 measures. All right, now let's project ID. Now there are started and ended. Normally when you put something like this, what happens, Tableau automatically tries to give you the year because it's a date. So sometimes it would be necessary to show the exact date. So I will tell you a shortcut. Always right click, drag and drop, and change it to discrete. Say okay, it will show the exact date. Otherwise, what people do normally, they will drag and drop start date, then they will go to this drop down, they will click on exact date, it will change it to a continuous, then again they will go and change it to discrete. 3-4 steps are involved. So to avoid all these intermediate steps, just right click, drag and drop, and from this menu just select discrete date. That's it. Okay, so this is my start date, this is my end date, and what is my status, right? Status is basically something like this. These are my status, right? So this is the data, but how to show that? So have you ever seen a Gantt chart, guys? So let me show you Gantt chart, how it looks. Let's Gantt chart in Excel. See, these are all the examples of Gantt charts, right? These are all different examples, right? So this is what we are going to create with this data that we have. So all these dates. Now, how do I find those bars, right? How do I find these bars? How do I do it? So basically, if you see nothing but it is like task 5, it starts on a particular date and goes up to that date. So it's basically start date to end date. So basically, in other words, it is the difference between start and end date, right? So what I can do here is I will create a calculated field and I'll say days between. And I just need to find out the difference in start and end date. So there is a function called date diff, which you would have used in Excel, in SQL also. So date diff, what it needs, the first argument it needs is the what is the interval, whether it is day, month, year, quarter, something like that. It's day. Yeah. So in Tableau, it is written in single quotes and all in small letters. But in and start date and then the end date. Okay, so difference date diff, start date and end date. It will give me the difference in the days. Let's say days between, right? If I just put it, you will see that. Okay, now this starts on 1st January 2022 until 31st March, right? So it is giving me 89 days. Okay, maybe what happens normally when you calculate these, right? It doesn't consider the start date. So normally we would add a +1. But because simple, right? If I ask you like 1 to 10, what is the difference? 10 minus 1, you will say 9, right? But you are not including that first date. So that's the reason we add +1 to that. Okay. Now I got the difference in days between two date fields, start date and end date. Now how I need to use that? So what I will do here is, now let's say, if I put it here, right, it comes something like this. So basically what is happening here is, it is giving me what is that difference in days for all of this, but this is not what I want. I want to find out the difference in days between 2 points. So I will need to change something in this. So what I will do here is, I'll put start date here, I'll put end date here. Okay, now it is started. I may not need that end date, because if I just add that, let's say I will do that. Let's see, you will able to understand. Let's say days between. Let me put it to size. Okay, it's coming like this. Now probably continuous. So I just change it to continuous, and you see what had happened. So here it became a date, right? Start date, continuous date. Any date field behind the scenes is a number. You know that, right? Hello guys, are you sleeping?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So any date field is a number, right? Behind the scenes.
Yes, sir.
You know that, right? And let's say in Excel, this particular date, right? If I copy and go to new sheet and I'll paste it. So what is this date? Let's say I'll put today's date. This is today's date, 11th April, right? And let's say if I go to formulas, no, not formula, the formatting here. And if I go here, I'll just change it to a number. You see, it is a number behind the scenes, right? And let's say I'll say 1. And if I convert it to a date, what will be it? Any
1960 January.
1st of January.
1st of January 1900, exactly. So that's why the date is also a number behind the scenes. So this is nothing but these many days has passed since 1st January 1900. So the moment I change it to a continuous, then I put days into size, automatically it is giving me that length, which is nothing but the days between my start date and end date. Okay, now there is something called status. Status I'll put into color. So for each status there is a color. Now completed. So completed, I'll give it a better color. Let's say completed is this. In progress is this, and not started, the ones are, let's say I'll make it gray. Something like that. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
that means that it's for P1 bar, start with some number which is associated with the start date, right? So it is starting from something between Jan 1 and Feb 1.
Your voice is not clear, Akshay. It's not clear. I don't know for everyone or for me only.
Okay, sir. Now I'm audible.
You are audible. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. What I'm saying, sir, the start date for P1 is something between Jan 1 to Feb 1. Okay. So yeah, so it is starting from 11th January 2022, and a date between 355. So it is adding 11th January 2020 plus 355, right?
Yes, that's exactly what is happening.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So that is exactly what is happening. So if you hover over it, started as this, days between is 355. So it is basically taking that sum of whatever the difference I found out, right? So it is basically, and automatically it is taking a Gantt bar. Okay, the Gantt bar.
We have to keep some days between inside.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So when you hover over, I don't see that end date also, right? So I can bring that also to tooltip. The moment I brought it, I can get the start and end date, everything. What is the status? Yes, and so probably, let's say I want to keep started and end date close by. So I can go to tooltip, I can control where they want to be shown. Say control X, control B. I can control that also. And you can all control all the like how it should look like, what is the color, what is the font, everything you can control. Let's say I'll choose a different color, something like that. So it looks just better, not with the default one, but you can control this. Let's say the first one I want to make it little bold, and let's say I will keep this status next to it. Okay, now let's select this. Now you see it looks much better. Project ID P4 completed. It's in progress, not started. And what is the start and end date? And what is the days between? Let's say we want to see as on date what is happening. So as on date is 11th April. So it will come somewhere here, right? Let's say I want to put a reference line. Okay, I want to put a reference line. How do I do it? So right click on your axis, add reference line. Okay, the moment you create that, so basically it will give you something like this. So here you see it is saying like start date, minimum, all those things. So basically I want to put today's date. So to do that, first I will create a calculated field which is called today, and I'll call it today. Okay. So this will give me today's date. Now I'll go to that reference line, add reference line, and here it will not come up because it is not used in the visualization. So what I will do here is I will just drag this today into details and make it a exact date. Okay, now if I right click, add reference line, and here you will see that today. Otherwise it will not show up if you have not used anywhere in the visualization. You have, that has to be there somewhere. So today minimum, let it be level computation. Let's say I want to show the value. Tooltip is automatic. Line, let's say I want to create a dashed line, and let's say okay, something like that. So this is my today's line. Okay. So based on this, so it will be dynamic. Tomorrow it will be 12th April, something like that. So people can see as on date what is happening. You can color code things also. You can write different conditions. If end date, you can compare end date and this today's date. If something has crossed and it is still in progress, then you can make it red, something like that. I mean, you can try it out. Different things can be done. Right, so this is called a Gantt chart. This can be used in different scenarios to find out different things, right? In sample superstore only, if I look at this data, so there is something called a ship date, okay, and there is something called order date. Order date is a ship date, is it? So if you want to find out the difference between days for each product, you can use this. So this is a homework, okay. So the homework is basically create a Gantt chart using order date and ship date. Ship date. Create a Gantt chart using order date and ship date to showcase the time, the days it takes for the products. I'm saying products to be delivered. Okay, so each product you will show me that. Okay, and use category and subcategory as filters. Okay, so this is the homework. Any questions on this? All right. Now there are a few variations in the line chart. I will show you that. Let's say I'll put order date. And I'll go for the let's say exact date. Let's see. And I have my sales. Okay, so it is a lot of clutter is there. So I will select a segment and I'll say keep only. So I'm just creating a filter with a few days in between. All right, let me even narrow this down. Let's say I'll keep only this much. So I'm just keeping a filter, guys. I mean, I'm not showing everything. I'm just keeping a filter. So I just select and doing that keep only, right? So what happens automatically, it creates a filter. If you look at this edit filter, and few dates will be, there will be tick mark on few dates. You see only these dates are I'm keeping. So I'm not trying to show everything, but only few days. Now this is a simple line chart. Now the moment you create a line chart, this path option comes up. If you click on that path, there are few different line types. This is a normal line type which we normally use, always we use this because this helps the users to understand the patterns and everything very easily. Now there is something called a step line chart. What it is? Let's see if I click on this. You see, it kind of a step it works basically. So let's say this is 4th September, this is 5th September, this is 6th, 7th, this is like 5th, and then 6th, 7th. So basically from 4th to 5th it goes like straight and then comes down based on the value. If it is more or less depends on that. Let's say here in this example, let's say this one, this dot that I'm highlighting is 6th September. So next value is 7th September. So this is not the value. Now it is 7th September is value this. So it comes straight, then goes up or down depending on the value where it is. But it can be also useful at certain places. Let's say this is 3rd and this is, let's say, this is 5th. So there is 1 day gap in between. Here, let's say 28th, and this one is 1st October. So 28th September to 1st October. 1st October. If I look at this data, let's say 2021, right? Let's say 28th September. So 2021. So 28th September and directly then came up 1st October. So there are 2 days of sales that is missing, right? So this can help you identify those where you may not have data for each and every day. And it will, so in that case, what will happen? The line will just go flat, nothing will happen. And the length will be bigger compared to the normal ones. Here, this is like 1 day difference, 24th and 25th. But here you see that difference is more. So these things can be highlighted. These things can be highlighted. Okay. So probably you can use quite a few things here. Let's say you need to find out the difference between the this date to this date, something like that, you know, and you can highlight this. So let's say there is something called this one, jump chart. Okay, there's something called jump chart. What is this? Let's say I will just duplicate this. Okay, and the second one I will change it to a jump chart. Now you see this jump chart is basically, again, I mean, just a little bit of variation from this step chart. In step chart, what happens? It connects these points, but here it only shows like what is the Okay, let's say this one 28 September, the sales is this. Now it just gives me the difference from the next point. So wherever it is little bigger, right, this length, then we know that there is some date missing in between. We can identify that, right? So this is the difference between like normal chart and a step chart. So order date is this, and the next is this. Can we find something like yeah, there are a few things that is coming to my mind, but let's say I'll increase this size. And what you can do here is, let's say we can definitely color code it. Let's say I will say sales into color, this one. Okay, and or profit. I'll do profit into color. And you can then let's do a dual axis and synchronize axis. And probably you see now, and I will just reduce this colors opacity a little bit so that they can be seen easily. And let me remove the headers. Well, that's okay. Now you see we can easily highlight few things, few points where mostly wherever the gap is there, sales won't be that much. And we can highlight those points easily. So these are like different variations of line chart, but mostly you will use this one because this is easy to understand and it shows the trends very easily compared to anything else. So this is just I want to show you. This is step and jump charts. Okay. Any questions on this, guys? All right. Yeah, pretty easy. I mean, depends on the use case that you will use. Now we'll cover this scatter plot. Okay, scatter plot we have done a little bit, but let's say I want to compare my sales and profit. So this is already a scatter plot, but this is only aggregated values, sales and profit, because there is no other detail in this visualization that will define the granularity of sales and profit. So let's say if I just use, let's say something called a product ID or something like that. Let's say product name. I'll put into detail. Okay. Now you see most of my product name are concentrated here in this area where my sales and profit are mentioned. There are few outliers like this particular product, Canon image, something, which gives us very high sales, very high profit. So this is an excellent product for us. But there are products which are like low sales, low profit. So company maybe want to investigate why this particular product sales is there, but profit is also equally negative. So probably they need to look at like why it is happening, right? So I mean, you can beautify these things little bit. Circle, let's say shape, I'll use this one. Now all these points are here, but let's say I'll use category into color. So each category is given a different color. Now they are kind of overlapped, okay, overlapped on top of each other. So what you can do in this case, normally just come to this color and reduce this opacity a little bit. The moment you reduce it, you can see the overlapping marks. Also what you can do here is okay, that thing is not available. You go to automatic and color. Okay, that's okay. So now you see these points, right? Automatically you can hover over, you can find out what is happening here also. So scatter plot depends, like I have an example from my Tableau public profile, public.tableau.com. Just example. I mean, I just want to show. this one. So you see in this example, we have different types of penguins here. There's a chin strap, then Gentoo or what I know, then Adley, something. This type of penguins are there. And what I'm doing here is, so there is something called x-axis and y-axis. So in both the axis, I have the same sort of parameters like bill length, bill depth, flipper length, body mass. How they combine to each other, how they compare to each other. Let's say here bill length is selected, and I will select, let's say, bill depth. You see the chart is changing automatically. Now the axis got changed, the value that I have picked. Now they are changed. Now let's say I will compare with bill length to, let's say, flipper length. You see this is a scatter plot, and this is scatter plot of each and every type of penguin that is available. Different types of penguins. Each mark here is a penguin. Okay, and then the color code here basically indicates whether it is male or female. So this +1 is basically female and this is male. And then what I'm showing here is x-axis is bill length. So this is my bill length. So what happens when the bill length increases? Does it also increase the flipper length also, or does it also does it have a correlation with the body mass also? So that sort of thing you can highlight using this scatter plot. So it gives you like the distribution of data, and you can understand what is happening. In our example, we were seeing like scatter plot, but we are seeing like sales versus profit. What is happening for each of the product? If my sales is increasing, what is happening to my profit? Or it is going down, or it's going up, so that your business can focus on the things that need attention, like these sort of things, mostly the negative ones, right? These negative ones can be. So if I just do this, and I can, let's say, I'll just say keep only. Now I'll put a filter. Now these are all the negative values where we have some sales, but profit is not that good. So they can highlight these things easily. So I put category into color, but also same time I can put category into filter also, show filter, and then I can target them separately. Let's see if I say for office supplies or technology, what are these things I can target? Let's say this is my technology. Let's say click here, control all. It will select everything. Hover over any point, and you see there is a view data is coming. Now you will get a summary of this. So these are different categories, products, and what is my profit and sales, right? And you can export it to, the user can export it as well, and they can analyze later what is happening. So this all things can be done. Let me save it before we lose anything. All right, this is called a scatter plot. All right, now we'll move on to a topic called table calculations. Table calculations. Just one second, guys. Now there is something called table calculation, which is a very important topic. Okay, let's say I'll use a simple example. Let's say subcategory, and let's say I will show my sales. Okay, now this is the normal sales. Now let's say I want to find out the percent of total. In Excel pivot table, you would have done that, right? So in pivot table, there is some option called show value as percent of, I mean, something like total, grand total, parent total, all those things are there, right? If you remember.
Yes, sir.
Same thing in Tableau, we can do those by using this quick table calculations. Basically table calculation. You see when you click on the drop down of any measure, you see this something called quick table calculation. So you see running total difference, percent difference, all those things are. Let's I'll click on this percent of total. You see, automatically it is changing based on the percent of total. And the moment you change, create a table calculation, you see there is a triangle now coming on sales, right? So that indicates it is a table calculation. Okay, it's a table calculation. Let me bring in the sales also so that we'll see both. I'll just change the order. So this is my sales and this is the percent of total. So basically percent total is calculated like this, right? What is my total? It is basically 2297201. So here it is 167380 divided by this number is giving me this number, percent of total, right? Similarly, let's say I want to find out other things, let's say sales. And here I want to find out the grand total, not grand total, running total. Let's say click on running total. Now, this is how we do it normally. I put it into detail because I cannot put it into sales here. See, automatically I drag and drop automatically try to create a calculation, right? Here I dragged and dropped. So it is something, this calculation. If you want to see what Tableau is doing when you do this table calculations, right? You can go this and edit. So you see running sum of sales. This is your table calculation for running total. And this is what the percent of total we did, right? So if you just click on this, now double click on this, it will give you the formula what it has used. Now copy this, put it to a notepad so that you will see that in case you are interested in seeing. So basically this is sum of sales divided by total sum of sales. So this is a table, total sum of sales is a table calculation. Okay, so sum of sales is this row and this total sum of sales basically calculates the entire sales and gives you this percentage, right? Now I want to find out the I don't need this. I want to calculate the running total. So see, I can't drop it here because already there is a sum of sales, so it is not accepting. So that's why we put it into the detail first, then go to this quick table calculation, change whatever you need. Let's say running total. Now I'll drop it here. The moment I drop it here, it will come up here. Now this is my running total. Right now there are some more things. Let's say if I put sum of sales here again, if I go to quick table calculation and there is something called difference. If I put it here, so it is the difference from the first row, difference from sales from the previous and it is computed along the down. So basically this 107 minus 167, it gives me this value. Now when you hover over any point and you have done a table calculation, there are a few more things that come up. There's something called compute using. So there are something called table down, sales, subcategory. What are these? Let's try to understand some more. And I would encourage you that you do all these the other table calculations like rank, percentile, percent of total, percent difference. Please do them. Okay, complete this. Like I want to see all the values here. But in table calculation, there are some more things. Let's say I'll put category and subcategory. Let's say I will put order date, and let's say I'll put region. Let me keep only a few, not all the regions, so that we can easily. Okay, now I have two regions, central and east, and the year of sales. So I'll put sales. Okay, now this is my sales value. Now let's say I'll change it to a percent of total sales. Now how it is happening? Okay, now if I add this, it's going more than 100%. So definitely it is not calculating like this, right? It is definitely not calculating like this. I see the percent of total, right? So looks like it is going like this. Now if I add it, it is coming up to 100%. So this is called across and this is called down. So in table calculation, these are two important things. There are two important things. One is direction and the other is scope. Okay, the direction is basically, if you click on this compute using, you see this across, down, those things are there, right? That is the direction. Scope is basically table, pane, or cell, or individual values. So basically, what is table, what is pane, what is cell? Let's say I'll open a PPT. I'll just create a blank one. And let me just take a screenshot of it. And paste it. Okay. Okay. Now this is the screenshot of it. Now when you go to that table calculation, right, you see some things as I told you, right? Compute using table across, table down, table pane, all those things. So what is table? What is pane? Right? That is most important in table calculation. That's how it will define the scope, how this percentage is getting calculated. Let's say I would now, I mean, first what I have, so let's say I want to calculate like this, the percentage of for the entire 2018, and it should give me the percentage of that. So I'll go here, compute using, I'll do a table down. Now if you add it, it will become 100%. So we need to understand what is it, then only, otherwise you will just keep on clicking until you reach the correct answer, right? One shot you won't be able to do it. Now if I do a table, now it is giving me, now this table is basically the whole thing. Now it will be 100%. So like this it happens. Now if I click on cell, compute using, let's say cell. Now each cell becomes that scope, and that's why the 100% is calculated based on that value. Now if I change something more, let's say I will change it to pane. Okay, now what is that pane? Pane is, let's say if I add this everything, it will become 100%. So this is a pane. This is the individual things are cells. The whole thing is the table. So if I tell you like in a PPT, let's say I'll just hover over it, and let's say I'll do like this. So this is the table. This is a scope. When you do the table calculation and you say like table down, table across, the scope is table. So this is the table. The whole thing is the table. Now, what is a pane? PANE I'm talking about. This intersections, right? These intersections, these are called panes. This thing is a pen, and the individual items are basically cells. So it is very important first to know when you're doing table calculation, what is the scope and what is the direction. Okay, now let's try to understand in a simple example. Let's say I will do create a calculated field, and let me call it index. What is index? It gives me the position. Right, so I'll say not one, let's say I'll say index. Okay, just like that, start and close index, and say okay. Now I'll drop it here. Now you see what is happening. Now can anyone tell me whether it is down or across? How that index is getting calculated?
Across.
It is across. You see it is going like this. Now if I go here, and if I say table down, it comes like this. You see 1 to 17, 1 to 17 like this. Now if I go to this, now there is something called across then down. So it goes like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 like this. It goes like zigzag kind of thing, right? Now compute using, let's say I'll say pane across. It like for each pane. So this is my pane, right? This intersection like between region and central and category subcategory. So it pane across means goes like this. And if I just change to pane down, it will try to calculate within that, right? So pane is my scope. So all the calculations are getting reset within the pane itself. It is not continued to the next one. Compute using, let's say across then down, all those things are there. You can just try to calculate what is happening here. Okay. Now let's do a simple example on using this where we will get to use this scope and direction. So let's say we want to find out the average gap. Let's say find out average gap of in order for customers. Okay, so I want to find out the average gap. So let's say I placed an order today, and next day, let's say you go to Amazon, placed an order today, and next time you are placing an order next month. Then after 5 days after that, next month you're doing like that. So similarly, most of the customers doing, right? They might not, they might be doing in some intervals, right? So I want to find out for all my customers what is the average gap. Got the requirement? What we want to do? Let's say. So I have my customer name and I have my order date. I'll just put it here for time being. I should do that. Right click and drag and drop. Discrete. Now this is my order date. So basically what I want to find out is I want to find out what is the average gap of order for each customer. Let's say this customer, first time he placed order on 18th February. Next time is 7th March. Next is 10th February, 10th November. So what is the difference between this date to this date, this date to this date? Find an average. Similarly, I want to find the average for all the customers. Getting it? What I'm trying to do? So to do that, first I need to find out what is the next date. Order date is this, and what is the next date on the same row. Then only you will be able to do some calculation, right? Let's say I'll find out the next order date. So we will use some formula here. Basically, there are some table calculation formula. Basically, in if you have to find out this next order date and all those things in SQL, what you will use? You will use lag, right? Similarly, here we will use lookup. Lookup. My expression is, let's say, order date, and offset is 1. Now it will break. It will give me an error. Now, why it is given? All fields must be aggregate or constant when using table calculation. So I cannot directly use this order date. Let me do a min of order date. And say okay. Now, and I am saying 1 means next row. If I would have said -1, it would have looked at the previous row. If you use 0, it is the same row. Let's say okay. Now this is, you see there is a date symbol is coming. So this is the next, should be the next order date. Can you see it is coming fine, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But what is happening to the last date for each customer?
The next order date is pulling
Yeah.
from another
Yeah,
customer.
the customer state is coming in here.
Yeah, so that is the problem here. So when you do this table calculation, right, something like this might happen. And as I told you, if it's a table calculation, you can define the scope. You can define the scope where and how it is, should be calculated. So what I can do here is, so this is next order date. Look at this. This is a table calculation, right? There's a triangle. So that means I can tell Tableau, I can instruct Tableau how it should be calculated. So I will do this and do a edit table calculation. Okay. Now in the edit table calculation, you look at this, like there are like pen, table, pen, all those things we saw, right? When we are trying to create a quick table calculation, all these things will be there, but it gives me more flexibility when you go to that edit table calculation. Now there is something called specific dimension. Okay. And specific dimensions are what? Customer name, order date. That's what I'm using. And based on that, I'm using the next order date. So what I need to do here is a small change, restarting every customer name, so that the next order date, the way it is calculated is obviously what it is doing is going to the next row and finding the next order date. But I want to tell Tableau that do not calculate the next order date for a different customer. So it has to be, it should, when it moved to Aaron Hawkins, it should restart again. It should not continue from the previous customer. So if the moment I do that, you see automatically what happens. Now this value became null, and which is right, because this after this date, this particular customer have never placed an order, right? You're getting my point, what I'm trying to do.
Yes, sir.
Now what I will do here is I will just so let's say I'll find out the difference now, date or average gap, whatever you call it, the gap. Let's say I'll call it gap, and I'll do a date diff again. Date diff, what I need in days, and start date is my order date, end date is my next order date. It might throw an error again. It is because cannot mix aggregate and non-aggregate arguments. If you remember, when we created this next order date, you see this is the function that we used. Some aggregation is happening here. You see min is an aggregation, right? Min, max, sum, count list, and all those things. So this is aggregated, this is non-aggregate. That's why you are getting this error, and mostly you will get this error when you work in Tableau. Everybody gets this error. So we need to bring them both into the same order. So here also I will do a min of order date. So it is not, don't think that min of order date means it will try to find out the minimum date for each order date. It's not going to happen, because the reason is the way you have, what is the level of detail in the visualization. It is at the order date. So if I say, so how any function in any tool that you use, it works at a row level, right? So if you say min of 18th February, what it will be? It will be 18th February, right? Min of 7 March, it will be 7 March. So there is no change, just that you are changing this to an aggregation. You can simply write a max also, that will also work fine, no problem. Ask me any questions you have a doubt here. All right, now let's say okay. Now this is my gap. Let me put it okay, let me put it here, and let me change it to bar chart. Okay, now here it is, the gap is basically, let's say I'll put a label. Now you see there are 17 days gap, looks fine, right? 18th February, 7th March, 7 days. Now this is 2018, 2020, 979, that is fine. Now there are 793 nulls, that is coming because of this, because we are trying to subtract this next null from a date. So it is giving that null. So I do not want to show this nulls, right? It doesn't make sense. So what I will do here is I will choose to, so what you can do, click on this and filter data. You can do that, or I can use this in the filter also. What I'll do is control click, drag and drop to filters. And what I'll say, none, and just say none, and select null and exclude. Okay, say okay. Now that null values will be gone. Now I'm seeing the gaps for each and every date. Now I haven't seen the average. So to find out the average, to get the average, what I will do here is go to analytics pane, and there is something called average line. So let's say for all the customers I need, so I'll do it on the entire table. The moment I put it on entire table, now I get an average line. What is that average is? So basically, on an average, each of my customer takes 188 days to replace the next order. So it is a very big gap. Probably we need to do something about it, right? And then the business will come up with different strategies where they can attract more customers to do transactions here. Any questions, guys? This line is so because that opacity is reduced. Okay. Well, I'll change the bar colors little bit, something like that. And all right. Any questions, guys? What we did, how we did, any questions? If not, you need to try it, you need to recreate it by You need to recreate everything. And the homework, one more homework here. Homework 2. Recreate metadata reports. Please recreate the metadata reports, important. If you don't do this, you will not be able to apply yourselves here. Please do this, okay? Whatever reports that has been created in metadata, try to create. You should be able to create by now. Not all the everything, but definitely most of it you should be able to create. If you're not able to create, then try to explore on the internet. Then we will discuss in the class, right? Any questions, guys? If not, we will stop here. I have a meeting in another 30 minutes, so I need to prepare.
No questions.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow morning. All right.
Thank you,
Please
sir.
do. Please do that metadata problem. Thank you, everyone. Bye.